This is huge. This is probably the thing that bothers me the most, and I want you to know it because you might be losing friends over this one. Hello, welcome back to Go Natural English. Today we are talking about how you can think more like a native English speaker in order to increase your English speaking skills. So if you're interested in how to speak English better, faster, more native-like, and more confidently, then you are in the right place. If this is your first time here, then welcome. I'm thrilled you're here. My name is Gabby Wallace, and I am an American English teacher. My goal is to help you to understand the English language and to reach fluency and confidence to be able to speak in English with anyone in any situation. So today I'd like to share 5 ways that I've noticed that native English speakers actually think differently than English learners, and I hope that this will be helpful for you. Now, if you are an English learner, I would encourage you to turn on the captions in English so that you can listen and watch this video and read along. So if you're here on YouTube, make sure to turn those on. And if you would be so kind and able to translate this video on YouTube into your native language, there's a link in the description where you can click on the link and you can help to translate, to help more people from your country, to represent your language. And as a thank you, I'll put your name in the description once you complete the transcription. All right, 5 ways that natives think different from English learners. I've noticed that there are some differences in the ways that you might think if you're an English learner and the way that a native English speaker might approach things. So the first one is how we approach people. This is huge. This is probably the thing that bothers me the most, and I want you to know it because you might be losing friends over this one. This is really important. So an English learner, let's start with English learners. An English learner often approaches native English speakers with the idea that, oh, if I speak with this person, if they would only be my friend, I'll be able to improve my English with them. I'll be able to practice with them. This will be like a free lesson. Well, that may be true. It very well may be true. Actually, it is true. The more native speakers that you interact with and the more native speaker friends that you have, the more you will improve your English. However, approaching a person with the mindset of, oh, this person is going to help me and they're going to give me their time, their energy, they're going to correct my English for free, it just doesn't feel very good to the native English speaker. Now, if you approach a native English speaker in a more organic way, less as a student and more with the mindset of, hey, I really like this person. Hey, we have a lot in common. Hey, we can talk about X, Y, and Z because we share a mutual affinity or interest or passion for these topics, and it happens to be that we both speak English and will both be using English to do so. This is a much better way to actually accomplish the same goal. So again, an English learner might approach people thinking that they are a free ticket to English fluency, whereas a native English speaker will approach people with the mindset of, let me get to know good people for good reasons, and it just so happens that we're using English. So I encourage you to think more about how you could approach people in the second way. Another way that English learners often think differently than native English speakers is that you put yourself down when you make a mistake. If you make a mistake in English, you often say, oh, my English is so bad, or I'm so sorry for my English. And a native English speaker will usually just let it go or say, oh, oops, I made a mistake, or maybe not even say anything. They might not even say, oops, I made a mistake. They might just correct themselves and keep going, or not even correct themselves, just keep going. Because a native English speaker is not as focused on perfection in their English speaking. They're often much more focused on the meaning or communicating or expressing themselves, simply talking, speaking, having a good time talking with their friends. And if they make a grammar mistake, if they make a pronunciation mistake, if they stutter, these are all super normal things that happen every single day for most native English speakers, and we don't lose our self-esteem usually because of it. We just simply keep on going. So I encourage you to think more like a native English speaker and just let it go, let it slide off if you make a mistake, and keep going. Stay focused on your communication. Stay focused on expressing yourself and connecting with other people. Number 3, language learners, including myself, often consider not doing an activity because we're afraid that it might be too difficult to understand. My own example is here in Brazil. I've been living here for several months, and there was a stand-up comedian that I was interested in seeing. I was interested in seeing the performance, but it was all in Portuguese and really fast speaking for native speakers, and I almost didn't go because I was afraid I wouldn't understand. But I said, you know what? If I'm going to improve my Portuguese and if I want to be part of society, I have to get out and do things that I think might be fun, even if I'm a little worried I won't understand. So I went. And you know what? I didn't understand hardly anything, but that's okay, because when we put ourselves in uncomfortable, difficult, challenging situations, it only helps us grow. It is difficult in the moment, but I think as long as we stay positive and understand that this is part of our journey, part of our growth, part of our experience, it's okay. Just be patient with yourself. So think more like a native speaker who might say, hey, you know, I'm gonna go to this lecture on astrophysics or this TEDx talk on technology, and I might not understand everything, but that's okay, because it will open my eyes and open my mind to some new ideas, new vocabulary, and maybe new friends too. Number 4, English learners often have this kind of cloud hanging over their heads, an imaginary cloud, but they often feel, I've noticed, I've perceived, that they feel like they're not as good as native English speakers. And this is actually quite opposite, quite strange to me, because the world actually has many times more non-native English speakers than native English speakers. So English has become your language, non-native English speakers, English learners. English is now a global language, or it should be. It should be owned by the majority. And so if you're thinking that you'll never be as good as a native speaker, just turn that thought around, turn it on its head. Think more like, this is a language that is shared with millions of people around the world, and we need to make it work for all of us. So don't believe that you are in any way inferior just because you didn't grow up speaking English as your first language. Finally, as an English learner, sometimes you tend to focus on or dwell on what you don't know yet. Oh, I don't understand the past perfect, so I just can't speak English at all. No, not at all. Native English speakers don't focus on what they don't understand in English grammar. In fact, many native English speakers don't understand the past perfect either, and they don't use it correctly. But that doesn't keep us from speaking English every single day. So use what you do know and improve little by little each day on what you don't know. Just to recap, first of all, try to approach people as people and not just opportunities for practice. Stop thinking my English is bad and just keep going if you make a mistake. Do everything you want to do, even if the English involved might be a little difficult. Believe that you are just as good as any native English speaker. And focus on what you do know and what you can use to communicate. This can include body language, gestures, a smile, so you can actually communicate with very little language. And each day we are improving little by little. I hope that you enjoyed these English tips on how to think more like a native English speaker, to speak better English, to have more confidence in English. I would love to have you subscribe here to Go Natural English if you'd like to see more English tip lessons like this. And I am going to post the next lesson for you that I think would be super helpful right over there. You can click on it and I will see you there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.